Testing, testing. Alright, okay. So, some issues. And I'm hoping that I didn't realize that Ember Paradox had just raided me beforehand, and all the guys, I'm hoping you might see me again. Yeah, I got shafted. Oh, hey, Tall182, hey, how you doing? Sorry, thanks for welcoming me back, man. How you doing? Yeah, no, I should say this. I just got knocked out with a snowstorm. We've been dealing with this the whole day. Power lines go out again, just let me know. I'll let you know if the power lines go out. I'm tit for tat, shit for shat, right? I can't fix that. I can't fix Mother Nature, right? But I'm hoping we don't go down again. I want to just continue on with this. We had a good run. I did also at Ember on Twitter, saying my apologies for, apparently, I didn't realize that she tried to raid me beforehand a couple times. I didn't know that. I'm not trying to be like, ooh, I'm a micro niche internet celebrity, and I'm getting noticed by this larger content creator. No, I'm thankful for her. I'm glad that I'm glad that someone maybe might have noticed me or whatever, but if you guys are happy with the stream, that's grand. I'm gonna try to get back to the point of the video where I was at. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about the weather. Let me just pull this up again, and that should get us operating. There we go. We are getting some motion back. There we go. Okay, thank you. And display capture back online. Perfect. All right. All right. We're a little too far ahead. I'm gonna just pull this back a bit because I didn't realize how short it was in the video. There we go. Okay. Oh boy. We were past this point, I believe, too. Yeah. We'll just wait for through. Hey, thanks, Forward. Yeah. There we are. So, quickly, Forward, before I lose you again, hopefully the weather doesn't knock me out again. Mother Nature's throwing a fit right now. She ain't happy with me. Yeah, so hopefully the electricity doesn't get knocked out again. But, I guess gales in November have come early. As the old song goes, an old adage goes. I was saying, though, is that when I was in school, and I want to continue on for what our previous conversation was with Art, is that when I was in school, the environmentalists, they would try to portray the baby seal killings, which of course I disagree with. I'm very much against eating or killing baby animals. I don't like veal. I don't like that type of stuff. I'm not gonna stamp my feet about it. I just don't feel like I just have a distaste in my mouth over it. But the thing is, they try to portray it as white huntsmen going up north to do this, but forgetting that a lot of Inuits tend to do that as a tradition. And a lot of the baby seal killings you'll still see nowadays tend to be Inuits that still do it. And a lot of the older, I guess, settlers or pioneers that came to North America, the Acadians, which were the prelude to the Cajuns, they did the same thing too for centuries as well. And it's just mainly now you'll see only the Inuits are typically doing it still. But I just remember being in class, I'm like, why are we not, factoring in that the Inuits do this too? Like, it just seems more like propaganda. I was like, yeah, I disagree with the practice, but this just feels like it's slanted in a certain direction. You kind of follow what I'm saying? once going back to it, a lot of these documentaries, we were, the clubbing thing was strange, yeah. I guess the clubbing thing did, anyways, it was, I guess if the clubbing thing was anything, it was early shock videos, right? Like, that would be like something you'd use to shock someone, like akin to gore videos. And I was around the internet young enough age to unfortunately have been exposed by edgelords in my class to have seen gore videos, but I guess the clubbing thing was part and partial to that too. And I guess maybe if you send that to someone, you think it's funny if you were getting some kicks out of it. I don't personally. I'm just like, I've seen enough National Geographic and Discovery Channel. You've seen enough blood and guts to just realize that, yeah, nature's brutal. How cattle are processed or something? Well, I mean, abattoir work. Working in abattoirs aren't typically that as brutal as you think it is. Most cattle assembly lines, I believe, still operate off the bolt gun method to euthanize. But in terms of like how they raise the cattle, yeah, I concur with that end. There are certain things we humans have done for food that is questionable. Personally, foie gras. I learned about that when I was learning French. Sorry, Quebecois, not exactly Parisian French, but Quebecois. Foie gras was, yeah, that's, yeah, PETA, well, I mean, that's PETA for you. Like, PETA is very much propagandist in their covering of things. I mean, Christ's sake, the same PETA that has the kill shelters, that has killed family pets, they literally just taken family pets from families and stole them. Yeah, we poured them fat down duck throats, yeah. But PETA would go and steal pets from families and put them down. Like, we're talking about that same PETA here. Like, anything PETA does, take it with a grain of salt. It's just mainly people who just want to make themselves feel important, honest to God. That's just what it is. But I want to continue on with the Fogeling here, because, ooh, we're getting some good stuff. Yeah, and foie gras too, faux art is, oh, shit. It is muted. Yeah. I got you.
Trying to make it seem like you can actually lose weight from eating their food without directly saying that for legal reasons.
Yeah, but
riding off the high of the Subway guy, the company ailed Jared more and more
liver failure from
Jared then became the unofficial
and the fatty liver that comes out of it.
Official
fatty liver disease.
Mascot
what kills the duck is what you get for foie gras. It's
both
just duck liver
becoming
that's
functionally synonymous with each other. Because when you think of Subway, you probably think of the jubilant Jared Jack pointing at a new sandwich that he's shilling for on the TV Consumerati. It even culminated in the company sponsoring Jared to just start appearing in random Subways.
Mandatory, you say, Gemata 15.
You know,
very mandatory.
Like a cryptid. Even going to the effort of giving out lectures and talks about fitness and healthy eating, pontificating to a presumed pilot of pogging pudgy pricks.
Welcome, by the way.
Jared Fogle became such a cultural touchstone of contemporary Americana that he had the honour of being a punchline in South Park, having a whole episode dedicated to him and his struggle with AIDS.
Did anyone see that episode back when? Or I guess in reruns? I mean, for me it was reruns. I don't think I was even born when that episode dropped. It was it had to be a rerun I had to have seen it in. But yeah, no, didn't age well, but then again, aged all the better too. It's kind of like blue cheese. You don't remember that episode? The joke was that Jared lost his weight due to AIDS. Or I guess HIV, but they made it with the AIDS joke that Jared just lost all this weight due to AIDS, because AIDS, being an autoimmune disease, does wipe you of any body fat, because just you're being clocked over time to operate, for your system to operate. Essentially, you're dying, right? So the joke was he got skinny from AIDS. And considering how AIDS is often transmitted, or is more in zeitgeist on how it's transmitted, considering what Jared did, that, oh boy, that, yeah. I'm surprised he did that diet since he just ate the... No, he had the turkey sub, too. The turkey sub. Oh, he had the turkey sub. Which, by the way, turkey... outside of, as I said before, outside of fresh turkey, outside like fresh Thanksgiving's turkey, or holiday turkey, disgusting. I don't like turkey. Outside of, when it's fresh. Because that stuff is just, like, sawdust to eat. Ugh. We'll get there. Did the audio go out too? No. OBS. Cut it.
Indeed, his own non-profit,
there we go.
Creatively known as the Jared Foundation. Its aim was to tackle childhood obesity via educational programs handed out to schools.
I'm gonna
Wow,
backtrack
Jared,
it for a sec.
you sure do love...
I'm gonna backtrack it for a sec. That's unprofessional. That is not good. There we go.
Pilot of pogging pudgy pricks.
Listen, I'm
Jared
sorry
Fogle
for this new
became
OBS
such a
update I've had has been causing me nothing but audio problems this whole
contemporary
day.
Americana that
I've had
he
mic
had the
problems, I've
honor
had
of being
desktop
a punchline
issues, I've had all
in
sorts of issues
South
with this
Park,
thing.
having a whole episode dedicated to him and his struggle with AIDS. Eventually becoming a recurring character.
We'd be tangenting. Tangenting.
Well, we'll get into that. In 2004, Jared Fogle did what every single celebrity does once they reach their socio-cultural zenith.
Not yet.
No, not just that. He founded his own non-profit, creatively known as the Jared Foundation. Yes. Its aim was to tackle childhood obesity via educational programs handed out to schools. Wow, Jared, you sure do love and cherish those kids.
Oh, no.
For their health, of course.
Oh,
now,
no.
Remember this foundation, because they're going to come up again later.
Oh, yeah.
We start to get rumblings of
it's
trouble
gonna get bad. If you don't know what happened with Jared,
as Rochelle Herman Walrond,
rock,
a journalist based out of Sarasota, Florida, informed the local PD of Fogle's less than kosher shenanigans in the area. Because you see, she had met him during his tour of the local middle schools for his previously mentioned foundation, during which he supposedly said some rather sussy statement.
Okay, for I'm gonna say go watch the video of Count Dankula just without me talking and yapping over it. There are full-blown 2-hour-long, 3-hour-long true crime documentaries, professionally made, and they're not like they're not like the wine mom in the basement chatting over and treating like it's spicy gossip like type of true crime. No, I'm talking about like full-blown. They handle with professional gloves true crime. The actual in-depth details that Dankula is not going to cover, I'm pretty sure he won't cover because this video is way too short for it. It's bad. Like, just hearing what he got charged for, that's bad enough, but when the details are laid out in full, it's bad. It is. Oh, God.
To a few of the students. This naturally abhorrent state of affairs resulted in this journalist actually doing some journalism.
Surprise.
In the form of collecting evidence. She was recording Fuckboy Fogle in the act and also saving any text interactions that she had with him. She then sent all of that off to the FBI, who ended up asking for more.
Oh, yeah.
A lot more.
Oh,
Thus,
fuck, yeah. That's the thing with FBI, with the FBI, when they want to nail someone to a cross and they know it's going to be a big case, like with connections, they take their time, for good reason, too. And this woman, even though, because I have seen the true crime documentaries, too. Oh, boy. He's going to say, I feel like, I'm not sure he's going to touch on it or not, but she deserves a Pulitzer for what she pulled off and how she was able to keep her integrity and play the role to honeypot Jared to keep talking. Because Jesus Christ.
A very rare display of steel will, commitment, and principle, traits that you don't usually get in a journalist, Rochelle went on to spend the next 4 years of her life befriending Jared, with the explicit intention of documenting and recording every single little snippet of incriminating evidence that he did in her presence. We will get onto the results of that in a second, but we need to move the timeline on. Come February 2008, Subway announced their next dastardly scheme to promote their overpriced pish. This time in the form of the Tour de Pants, with Jared being centre stage once more, flaunting how much weight he lost, being represented
this is what
by
he's most
his
known
old
for.
dummy-fit
image.
pair of jeans that he once wore.
Yeah.
He was seemingly so high.
That image was everywhere. That was everywhere. His pants were him. Like, he was... It's crazy to think that he is a celebrity. That he was a celebrity. But that, like, it's absurd. It's just insane of how big he was. And, double entendre joke, I guess. To this day, I'm going to disagree with it. To this day, it's a wholesome picture, because, no, there's tainted. There's a tainted side to that. But when you, like, he was everywhere. Like, I remember even as, like a kid, before any of this happened, I remember seeing those images. Chip is so, I just saw your big white... Chippy, so, did you come from the Kirsche stream? You came from the Kirsche stream. You're scaring the hose in the kick chat. What that means is that, yeah, there you are. Yeah, I hope you like Volvos, man. I'm a Volvo obsessed guy.
On his own ego trip, that he promised that he would donate his cavernous caca catchers to a museum upon the tour's end. Jared then went on the fucking WWE in 2009 and 2011, culminating in getting his conveniently held, perfectly wrapped, intact and marketably visible Subway footlong snatched and eaten by serial mogger, Burberry tie enjoyer and proto-tate, The Miz, whilst in a crowd of guffawing and sneeding fans. Or when he got strong-armed and dominated into feeding Subway footlongs to S-rank supplementarian and sapient thumb, Ryback. In closing down Jared's misadventures before we get into the big reveal, we see him make multiple cameos across multiple TV shows and films, including the...
Wait. The guy who got his dick cut off by his wife, I forgot he did a promotion. Babbitt, give me a sec, Lorena Babbitt was the wife. I don't know shit about cars, so I just drive a sedan with a timing chain, so I don't think I have to think hard about it, Chip, so, okay. But for faux hard over here, it was, not John Wayne Babbitt, was it John Wayne Babbitt? No, it can't be it. But something Babbitt. You want to know something else, faux art? That guy was a former Marine, and he would later, after getting his dick cut off, he'd get it surgically reattached. He had a new one grafted because she had thrown that one, his dick that he cut off, into the garbage disposal. And he would then go on to do a certain movie role called Frankenpenis, where he was in a porno where he fucked a midget. How do I know this? Evan Wright is a reporter who used to work for dirty magazines and other stuff too. And he would later on to go publish a book called Generation Kill, which would become a great HBO miniseries. Evan Wright would serve alongside the Recon Marines in Iraq during 2003, and in his autobiography, he spoke of how he told them the story of how he interviewed John Wayne Babbitt over him fucking a midget with his Frankenpenis. When they were talking about if the Marine Corps had any famous Marines. There was quite a few. in terms of what they did post-Marine service. But not usually for the best stuff. Not usually for good things. Yeah, Tal, if you think Kersha knows fuck knowledge, Kersha covers a lot of sexual stuff, I guess, on stream, like, for terms of, like, screwy things, or at least she used to, but, let's just say it makes you squeamish, but it's not the worst I've heard.
Likes of that one show I haven't watched, Community, that one movie okay. I forgot I watched, Jack and Jill, and that one show I refused to watch, SNL.
Oh.
Hey, I'm Jared Fogle from Subway.
Oh, my ass in copyright for this one, isn't it?
I know a little something about weight loss, and I can honestly say this diet sucks a foot long.
I was talking to my mom last night, and she had SNL on TV, and I don't think I've ever had a sense of just feeling of dread and indifference to a show in my life. I don't watch TV hardly ever anymore, but I haven't done it so for years, but just that indifference you feel of just, ugh. How can people find this funny? But then again, I hang out with so many, I work with normies, so I hear the phrase of, bro, did you see the new SNL? Did you see the new thing on TV? I'm like, whoa, Mr. Guy in the suit on front of the interview is so funny. I'm like, the last one who was funny was Conan. That was back in the 2000s. Conan was funny. Like, only late night interviewers I can ever think were hilarious was Conan O'Brien. Right? Eric Andre maybe, but Eric Andre was just taking a parody of it. Like British office sitcoms, existential dread. Yes, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, how do I also know what you're talking about too? Because my grandmother, my mom are Tiaboos. I am technically British descendant, Scottish descendant, quite a few descendants. I like the it crowd. Yeah, it's your choice. I like Mrs. Brown's Boys. That was, in terms of normie TV, Mrs. Brown's Boys is what I liked from the Brit side. I like Monkey Dust. That was another one. But my mom used to make me used to hog the TV, and I have to sit there and watch Downton Abbey with her. That was dreadful. Father Ted's great. Blackadder's great. I mean, you name the classics. Yes, there are classics. Yes, the It Crowd is what gave me Lovecraftian dread. Like, if you feel, depends on how you feel on it, right? Because like I've been forced to watch British comedies and then also British soap operas. My grandmother, when she used to babysit me, would make me watch Coronation Street. I just want to watch Thomas the Tank Engine. Well, I have to see that. I didn't want to see your soap operas. I want to see Thomas the Tank Engine, not Coronation Street.
You know what? Jared is about on par comedy-wise with half the people in there, so true. I can't really say much. He was also in that one somewhat... And
about as questionable as in legal-wise as the rest of them. My family loves Korean dramas. I showed them one 12 years ago in the inductions. Oh, what have you done? My sister is a Koreaboo, or in the sense she's like the basic bitch Koreaboo. She loves K-pop, which I'm okay. It's like, okay, that's fine. You can like whatever you like. She likes Korean dramas, but she watches them in English dub. Korean dramas in English dub. Imagine as Colonel Kurtz uttered in his dying breath, the horror. That's how I feel. She wanted to get into anime too, but she did not want to listen to any of my suggestions. And I told her Cowboy Bebop or Sailor Moon, just like very easygoing stuff that like a normie girl would get into. That she doesn't even want to touch that. And yet I'm told by people they watch anime, or they found out I watch anime, and one of the auto shops I used to work at, this one guy's like, bro, I watch anime too. I love the new Devil May Cry show by 80 Shinkar. And I nearly just grabbed the strut with the spring on it and just put it underneath my chin and popped the cap off and said, let's slip the dogs of war underneath me. I nearly pulled a Kurt Cobain with a strut spring from that. Because I'm like, I'm not suffering through this. This is not a legacy. I will not let a game series I love be bastardized like that. No, the Koreans really adopted the Americans, the very Americanized sense of humor for their media. I recognize that, so I guess it makes it easier to get into. Honestly, I call this a Reddit tier opinion all you want. I love Gintama, because Gintama to me is like anime Seinfeld. It's literally a show about nothing. Well, okay, granted, it does have its story. Granted, Gintama has a lot of arcs and actual story to it. But I love Gintama because when they don't take themselves serious and they're doing the joke bits, it's like an anime Seinfeld. And I love that. But showing someone else Gintama who doesn't understand, like, some things of the Japanese language or just the jokes they play into it, it doesn't make sense to them. It's kind of like, I guess language jokes is something that maybe you do get if you don't need to be like an intellectual fully, or even be comprehensive of language to understand it. You can just kind of get the gist of it. I mean, Mel Brooks made plenty of language jokes to use in place of onomatopoeias. Yeah.
Infamous documentary that you might have been forced to watch in school, Super Size Me. Famous for having Morgan Spurlock vomit in a car park and get folded by a fucking Big Mac. Big fucking baby. It was around the time that Jared was completing his trio of cameos in the Sharknado movies, which I've just kindly reminded you exist.
Jeez. Sharknado. Does anyone remember that? I had to be like doing a member berry, but Asylum, that's a name I've not heard. Oh god. They made 10 of them. Yeah, it was Asylum Films, and I think didn't Asylum Films didn't they do Snakes on a Plane as well? I'm pretty sure there was Asylum who did Snakes on a Plane. Like, their whole thing is being B-rated movies, and then they got popular, so they were able to get A-list celebrities in there. But the whole thing felt very millennial coded, I guess, in terms of how forced it was of the comedy. The wacky, it felt like the Friedman, the brothers Friedman or whatever they're called, the two Jewish brothers that try to act like the Wayans brothers with the disaster movie or epic movie or the Meet the Spartans, right? They're like very shitty, very low grade reference comedy. Yeah, it could be worse. Wait, Bowl. Yeah, it could be. God, how? I mean, granted, it's with I guess it's with any time period prior to the 2010s, but like we had so much good and equally shit movies back when in the 2000s. I can think about it, right? Like some of my favorite movies came out in the 2000s, and like some like ones I considered art, and yet you get absolute stinkers that somehow, some way, someone tries to get you to watch. I had a girl who tried to do Netflix and chill with white girls. I'm not kidding. The Orient Action Slap, late 80s, yeah, those, okay, admittedly, those are fun. I liked, American Ninja, yeah. If you know Grape Sawa, a VTuber I like, her name is Grape Sawa-sama, White Chicks, there we go, yeah. Literally pulled I don't even want to quote Team 4 Star because I don't really like how they turned out. I never liked how they became the face of Hellsing, but like, yeah, White Chicks was amazing. Like, she tried to literally seduce me with White Chicks by playing White Chicks. I'm like, I am not having a good time here. Like, the Wayans have some really good movies beforehand in terms of just like referential comedy. I know people think of Scary Movie, but the Wayans brothers, you have to watch I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, which is a parody of like blaxploitation movies. The best scene from that movie, is the black nationalists who portrays him, who is part of the Black Panthers, but it's literally ripping on how the Black Panthers dissolved in real life, and this black supremacist / nationalist is dating a Aryan white woman with her 2 blonde kids who are reading pseudo Nation of Islam propaganda in the movie. It's hilarious. It's just absolutely hilarious. Like just just shitting all over the blaxploitation era of the 70s in terms of filmmaking. It was hilarious. Now, granted, I do, because they did get a lot of actors of that era into that movie too. I like the one with the long title about drinking your juice in the hood. Yes, don't be a menace when you're drinking your juice in the hood. Drinking your juice in... Yeah, that's it. There's like 900 black men die watching Black Hood films. Yeah. Yeah, that one was... That's a classic. That one's an absolute classic. I think admittedly the Waynes, they do stinkers. They have plenty of stinkers, but when the Wayans brothers do something's right, they can do it right. It's just unfortunate that the one thing that sours my taste on Marlon is that he did a anti-piracy SNL skit with with Lars Ulrich of Metallica beating him up, because remember Lars was the one who took down Napster, or was like the leading force of why Napster went down. And have Marlon act as like the dorky nerd guy who's pirating all of his stuff, and Ulrich's the hero beating him up. Yeah, no, it was a shitty skit. It was basically like, those you wouldn't download a car, you wouldn't download this, you wouldn't steal a car, you wouldn't steal this, so why would you steal music? Piracy's a crime type shit. It was one of those commercials where like commies get to promote it. It was tripe. It's just that kind of left a little stain in my mouth, because like, the 7 seas must be sailed, and we have to, and considering the current climate nowadays with media, it's best to sail the 7 seas to preserve media.
When it all started to come crashing down, as in 2015, after the director of the Jared Foundation, one Russell Taylor, was arrested on charges of possession of child pornography, child exploitation, and voyeurism. Now imagine this. We had a whole nice little tangent about 2000s comedies and stuff, and now back to reality where the horrors never stop, don't they? Details of the arrest were over the claim that Russell and his former wife were doing things to young girls and installing cameras in their house to film the young girls without their knowledge. Yep. Jared Fogle immediately severed all ties with the couple following the arrest, and this probably resulted in Russell's suicide attempt in May. Russell was finally convicted in 2021, and he was to serve 27 years for 30 counts of child pornography and child sexual abuse. Yeah. Geez, what a very, very low sentence for some extremely serious crimes.
Absolutely.
How could that happen? Well, the lower sentence...
Ideally, a lower sentence wouldn't be jail time. It would... You go from the wood chipper... No, he was arrested in 2015. Remember, court trials are drawn out. Remember that. Like, when they want to mount you up, and if there's defense, it goes on for long expenditures of time. Remember, Johnny Somali's been going for over a year now. Like that, it's something that seems like a shut and closed case. No, it's gonna take a long while. But honestly, a lighter sentence for someone of these two fine gentlemen would be, a lighter sentence for one of them would be to go from a wood chipper to swinging from a tree. Because personally, why pay the money just to keep these guys alive? Right? A bullet's too expensive, but just some old rope and a nice little nice little step stool, and just put him through. That's it. But no, he sang like a songbird. And he, oh boy.
Was part of a deal. Russell snitched.
Squeal like a pig.
Big time. Despite Jared Fogle's tactical retreat from the Foundation heads following their arrest, it was only a matter of time before his sins would see the light of day. Because on July the 7th, the feds raided Jared Fogle's home, which was located in, and I shit you not, Zionsville, Indiana.
So those who joined recently, Jared's kosher. Jared comes from a family. The early life jokes. So the whole Zionsville thing, this just feels like poor writing. This just feels like a certain type of writing. I'm not okay. Once again, I'm not alluding. I'm not going to allude to. Oh, of course, the early life section. Of course, that must mean he was a pedophile. Obviously, must means he was. No, this is just. But like the writing sometimes, like either we're living in a simulation or god damn, we have some just wannabe art students for the history of the world in terms of writing, because this is nuts. Read that below there. Read it underneath the flower. Zion's pride. Oh. Why?
And Jared Fogle was arrested for distribution of child pornography.
Yep.
With Subway very conveniently suspending their long-standing business agreement with Fogle just a week prior to his arrest.
Yeah.
What are the chances of that? Alongside the previously mentioned audio recordings from Rochelle, which are fucking harrowing, by the way, which is why I am not playing them at all in this video. That Rochelle woman deserves a fucking Oscar for somehow managing to stay in character. Seriously, go and listen to those if you want, but trust me, only do it if you have a very, very strong stomach.
Yeah, those true crime channels that covered this, like the documentaries, I can't remember their names right now, but they have snippets of that audio clip. It's, how brazen he is one thing. How brazen describing what he does, it's horrific. It's akin to going and listening to the Jonestown audio in terms of you have to be willing to have a steel nerve to sit through it. Because when you let your mind wander and just do the, not really the picturing, I don't want to say that's the way, because the mere notion of that horrifies, it just horrifies the mind. But just that gummy red lip smile snarking back at you as he describes these horrific actions. Yeah, no, this is why I like Dankula, because at least he can make it palatable. He can make it palatable to like listen to what you know, or what you might have listened to before, because it's fucked. Like Dankula's covered a lot of like dark subject matter, but at least with him, it's comedic. He can spin comedy from it. That's how we cope with this type of thing. But fuck, there are things you can't cope with.
Anyway, the FBI also had access to subpoenaed text exchanges between Fogle and company franchisee Cindy Mills. Now, what do these exchanges detail? Nothing much, just about how they not only were having an affair, but also how Jared was trying to entice Cindy into letting him Fogle her 16-year-old cousin. And also straight up admitting to her that he frequented Thailand so that he could sleep with prostitutes as young as 9.
Yeah. There are things that you forget. There's things you want to forget from hearing from those documentaries. I heard that excerpt. I heard the excerpt. I heard that excerpt from one of those documentaries. I can't remember the guy's name. I really got to figure out that video, because it's a really good. It's like 3 hours long. But when you hear that audio excerpt, or just the straight quotation of it, oh god, yeah. Oh no, forward. He traveled. He traveled overseas. They're not even covering all things that he does. Like it's degenerate. It was horrific.
Now, here's the really funny thing. Cindy had apparently reported all of this to Subway corporate management years ago.
Yeah, this is the part that irks me the most.
Absolutely fuck all. Supposedly because of the fact that Jared wasn't technically a company employee and therefore had not breached any of their rules.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't break our company policy, right? Your ass is grass if you steal a loaf of bread. Your ass is grass if you just have like a little nosh or take your company discount on company time to buy some food because it's dead in the middle of winter and you're a little bit hungry, right? And you're gonna pay outright for it, but you can use your little company discount on company time. No, that gets your ass grassed. But this is completely fucking fine in the eyes of corporate. God, I hate corporate bureaucracy. God, I hate this.
Because that's clearly what takes precedence in that kind of situation. Company policy and bureaucracy. Though Subway did deny having any record of this interaction.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Because of course they fucking would.
Yeah, of course.
So naturally, Jared's defence had something of an uphill battle ahead of them. Spoiler alert, they fucking lost. But surprisingly enough, instead of fighting to the bitter end and getting the ultimate and deserved hammer of the law brought down on Fogel's fucked up fisheye head, they instead decided to engage with a plea agreement. As such, on August the 19th, prosecutors had announced that Fogel conceded to 2 counts. Distribution and receipt of child pornography and solicitation of sexual acts with a minor. Now, the full extent of Jared's body count is harrowing enough, and to be honest, I'm not getting into it.
I don't blame Dank.
I know that a lot of people watch my video.
I think people also read this too about Dankula. If you don't know who he is, Marcus. Dank's a father. I think he made this video when he just had his first or he had just had his second kid. There's a point where you can't even cover this stuff through like all legality because the horrors of it all. And I'm very much understanding of Dank in this regard. Like this is like Dank. I love him because he's making all these he makes it funny and tolerable, but like I understand him completely on this end. It's fucked.
Because they're very
well, Dank is divorced, but he still has custody of his kids, right? He has shared custody. It wasn't a messy divorce, right? It wasn't as messy as a divorce as people thought it was. Yeah, no, the dog, Godspeed Space Cowboy, poor pupper, forget the dog's name, but it's moved on, right? It was a pug. It wasn't gonna live forever, but she finally moved on to greener pastures. I'll see you, little space cowboy.
Searched, and we like to go into all the nitty-gritty details that most other people, don't have in their videos. But I don't care. I'm not getting into it.
Thank you, Dank.
I'm not. Tough. All that needs to be known is that in count 1, Jared was complicit in the fogeling of 12 minors, and in count 2, he offered adult prostitutes a finder's fee for finding more youthful workers. Because Jared loves to eat fresh.
Yep. As obvious as it comes.
I'm sorry, but another thing that you should all know about me by now is that I use comedy to deal with terrible, terrible things.
We all do. Or at least the ones of us who try to keep ourselves sane. We all have to.
In November, Jared formally pleaded guilty before the judge, declaring that what he did was wrong and totally evil and stuff. But that his paedophilic urges were brought on as a consequence of his eating disorder.
Yep.
Yeah, serious.
Sound of Freedom, that's what you're thinking. I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah, no, that's exactly like it. Yeah. Trafficking. Like nurses, you can laugh or go berserk. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fields you have to make light of, or you go nuts. I mean, gallows humor's a thing, military humor's a thing, firemen's, policemen's, nursing. Hell, you don't even need to be in like a field that's high risk or supposedly high risk. A good example of that would be if you work in enough industrial areas or factories and you've seen enough things in your time, you make light of it. I was taught, because I used to go on a lot of construction sites when I was a kid. My dad had a higher-end construction job, a supervisor, and I would go on construction sites. Safely, of course, with things done so I can talk to some of the guys. And I remember these iron welders or iron workers who used to do the beams on skyscrapers said to me, and it stuck with me forever, and they kind of, to them it's gallows humor, but they kind of laughed it off. It doesn't matter if you're 30 feet or 300 feet from concrete. You fall, you're dead. So live it up all you can. They were very straight-laced with it. It's like, yeah, no, if you fall, you're dead. Suck it up. So I guess to keep ourselves sane, I mean, it's known. To keep yourself sane, you have to laugh at the absurdity of everything. Even in the horrors, even no matter how horrific it is, you have to find some light.
Jared Fogle claimed that as a consequence of suppressing his appetite, his eating disorder instead manifested in the form of hypersexuality.
I'm sorry, what?
Because, of course, having the desire to fuck kids is clearly on par with a cheeky goon sex from time to time. The man had the audacity to self-diagnose himself with mild paedophilia.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
As his attraction was primarily to young teenagers.
No fucking way he did that in court. No fucking way.
Yes, Jared Fogle did the meme. He did the meme.
No.
He did the, actually, it's a phoebophile in court.
Are you...
He did the meme in court.
Oh my god.
And to the surprise of absolutely fucking no one, Jared Fogle was laughed out of the room and into prison.
Yeah.
Getting a sentence...
Look at that face. Look at that smug... You could land a Harrier jump jet on that forehead. Look at that size of that forehead. You could land a Harrier on this. The Nimitz doesn't have that much landing space. Oh, he said he says trim 190 pounds. Yeah, 210, you lying sack of shit. Oh, he's 6'2". Hair blows ain't saving him, man. He needs the full toupee.
Of 15 years and 8 months with a minimum of 13 years served before any chance of parole.
Right.
Alongside getting a measly fine of $175,000 and a small chunk of his assets to be distributed among his victims. As a quick aside, here is a fun fact. In 2017, Jared Fogle tried to evade the majority of his sentence due to declaring himself a sovereign citizen.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck? You heard it here, folks. Sovereign citizen. Jesus Christ.
And just like every single other situation wherever anyone says, I'm a sovereign citizen, it didn't fucking work.
Yeah.
Of course, this sentence is fuck all for what he did.
Exactly.
But considering just how prolific he was, how organised and collected his network was, you know, having a whole foundation at least partially complicit in it, and how wide his range of victims was, he was just very lucky that someone else didn't commit his suicide. So...
yeah. B-list celebrity. I don't think he would have that many connections to begin with, but like, in terms of blackmail. But hey ho. You never know sometimes.
Where does that leave us now? Well, Jared won't be leaving prison until at least March 2029. But before you get all sad that he's cruising easy in the Englewood estate in
I remember that number. Yep.
He isn't.
Yeah.
Because due to the fact that he is a child molester
it was in the hundreds.
Prison, he has something of a big fucking target on his back.
Yeah.
Doubly so because he's famous. He's
yeah, no, non-profit, I know. And yeah, this is what I remember too. In prison, he's not having a good time. He's recognizable, like he is King Chomo.
The fucking Subway guy. As of recording this video, Jared Fogle still lives in this constant fear of attack. Case in point, the January 2016 assault of Jared Fogle by one inmate and notable pedo hater, Stephen...
King shit, but, that's not the worst. I've seen a few last names go near the full 9 yards with it. So kudos. Go for it, big guy.
I'm being completely serious. That is his actual fucking name.
Do I say it?
When questioned as to why he assaulted boy lover Jared, 60-year-old Stephen claimed that he simply, and I quote, can't be around child molesters without getting violent.
Oh,
and for legal reasons, I cannot condone this behaviour.
Don't give Twitch ammo tonight. Do I get the instant infamy, or do I hold my tongue? I'm kidding. I'm not doing it on Twitch. See, if I was gonna let loose like I've done before, I would just totally hold off and just lay low on I'm probably like Rumble or just on Kick. Like I'm not, because like quite frankly, it's a word. Like the actual one, it's a word. You want to get power to it, kudos. You want to make it your life, go ahead, kudos. But honest to God, people just use it. People aren't even offended by it nowadays. They just use an excuse to kill someone. Those types tend to. And you're talking to a guy who's got black family. Yeah, people want to say, "Oh, you're doing the Black Friends token card." No, I have actual black family I've known since I was like really, really, really little. Right? I'm glad I can say retard these days too. Okay, maybe not. Oh, I can. Hey, there's also alternatives too. You can use for any slur. You want to get the old Uncle Ruckus song out? You don't want to call someone a retard, call them a window licker. Call them a short bus denizen. Right? There's millions of one names you can call someone a retard.
So, as you may expect, birds of a feather flock together, and apparently Jared is a mighty big bird, because according to Stephen, Jared has flocked with and fell in lockstep with other paedophiles in the prison, being crowned as King Chomo. Yes, apparently that is what Jared Fogle is literally called in prison.
Jeez.
King Chomo. So I'll leave you with that. You can all sleep soundly in your beds tonight, knowing that
Jared's
the
not gonna
big
touch our
bad Subway
footlongs.
sex pest is locked away for at least another 5 years, and that he is hated by absolutely everyone.
Good.
Also, Subway is overpriced garbage.
Preach, King. Preach. Absolute preach. Honest to God, subs as a food, as like a takeout food, mid-tier. Yeah, Subway hasn't recovered since, but hot take, subs as a whole, mid-tier food. Okay? Mid-tier sandwiches. I'm talking Firehouse, I'm talking about Quiznos, I'm talking about Subway, I don't give a shit. Name your brand, name your marquee, I don't care. Name your mark. I don't care. Subs are shite. Okay? Subs are shite. Deli meat is shite. Jersey Mike, yeah. Dude, I've had Firehouse. Ugh. I don't get the hype. I don't get any of this.
It's Count Thank You on YouTube.
All right. I'm thinking we are going to watch a different video now, and we had our Count Thank You fill for tonight. I'm thinking we're going on down a different route here. A palate cleanser, yes. I've had enough of food. I've had enough of nonsense. Let's watch one about the odds of life, about odds of fate. By a YouTuber I've had some wavering respect for over time, depending on the time of day. And his name is Emp Lemon. And this video is about poker's greatest tournament run. So if you like the odds being your favor, this might be the video for you. Emp Lemon has been doing these essays for years. I've seen a few, and this one is one I really want to watch. Because I do partake in poker, or in terms of I do enjoy the games of cards. Games of chance, game of cards. I don't actually bet. I'm not one for vice, but I do like the games. And I used to play Telltale's Poker Night at the Inventory. If anyone knows what that is, let me know, because that is a hood classic number 1 and number 2. Taking characters of different franchises and putting them together to play poker, and then idle conversations is just splendid. Now, 2+2 board member. I used to love that place. I've never been to one, unfortunately. A lot of arcades were shut down in my area. It's a pretty desolate town. And display capture, you want to act up? There we go. Go time.
A standard deck of playing...
Oh, and by the way, subscribe to Emp Lemon. Absolutely subscribe to him. Great guy, great channel. Great content. Full kudos to him, full credits, full props. I'm just here to watch.
Cards can be arranged in a number of ways. In fact, that exact number happens to be 52
You can... on my channel, you can find a short where I clipped the almighty Lolly and punished Shota on a stream they did last December where they played God Hand, and Shota, and also I have the full clip, rough cut clip of it too, of where they just played above the blackjack and God Hand, and Shota was losing his mind, and he screams, "Allah has betrayed me," when it didn't go on black.
Which can otherwise be expressed like this, or in standard notation, like this.
Oh, shit.
It's a number so astronomically huge that it would take me a minute to even pronounce the whole thing. The scale of it is mind-boggling, far beyond anything we can hope to visualize with our human frame of reference. It doesn't really make sense how this unfathomable quantity manages to fit neatly inside such a simple man-made object. Depending on how you look at it, a deck of cards might as well contain all the possibilities in the universe. The whims of chance are as tantalizing as they are confounding, something that exists just beyond the realm of our control. If you manage to achieve total mastery over the odds, you could basically do anything you wanted. Anyone who somehow harnessed this elusive power would suddenly gain access to unlimited possibilities. You could dodge bullets, hit every green light, and never lose at Monopoly again. But if we're being honest, you and I both know exactly how everyone would use this ability.
Oh, yeah.
They'd immediately go out and buy a winning lottery ticket, hit a 25-way parlay, and dump everything else into tomorrow's best performing stock. Because if there's one thing people love to imagine themselves doing, it's getting rich.
You gotta be like King Midas, right? It's cream, cash rules everything around me. Wu-Tang Financial, place for you and your kids.
When given one shot at a lucky streak, the best we could hope to do with it would be to make some serious money.
Yeah.
Allow me to introduce you to the star of our story. His name is Chris Moneymaker. Yes, that is his real name.
Oh shit, really?
It is believed to have descended from the German name Nurmacher,
belonging
to distant relatives who manufactured silver and gold coins. Chris would end up working with money in his own right, earning a modest living as an accountant for a local restaurant chain. I'm
gonna pause here. Thorpe. Yeah, okay. No, I don't. Yeah, I know Thorpe. Okay. Sorry, you gotta jog my economics mind to get that there. Here's his last name. Yeah. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I'm gonna go back here.
It is believed to have descended from the German name Nurmacher.
Nurmacher. You know, that's what I like about. I mean, granted, I am European descent, but that's what I like about a lot of more. I like my German side and the German names a lot because it's just so blunt in what they call you. You could like trace to what your ancestral lineage leans to from your last name alone. Typically, I believe the Germans did more so where your last name came from your profession, obviously, but for some reason, the Dutch tend to use the last name as a way to describe your personality or your ancestor's personality, which would describe and define you. Kind of funny how that kind of works, but like with the Germans, you have Schumacher, Michael Schumacher, one of the greatest F1 drivers of all time. His name literally just means like his name is literally just a case of he is a shoemaker. It's kind of funny how that originates. You can find names for blacksmiths, you can find names for anything you can really think of under the sun. Horse maintainers, knights, soldiers, take your pick. Like one way or another, these last names originated from some sort of profession.
Belonging to distant relatives who manufactured silver and gold coins. Chris would end up working with money in his own right, earning a modest living as an accountant for a local restaurant.
By the way, also, I like to collect coins as my hobby. I'm not a card collector. I'm not like, outside of like working on cars. My hobby is coin collecting, mainly bullion for investments. I do love me some good old-fashioned, just classic coins and classic mints. Some of them may not be worth that much. I might have a little bit of excess money and I can't buy another bullion. I'm like, I'll buy a classic coin from a dead government or dead federal. Like, man, you ate well these past 2 years. I wouldn't say that. I've been in and out of it because money's been tough. So, yeah, silver's mine is my prerogative. Though I do wish to partake in gold because I can't call myself the Yukon Cornelius of the Gen Z if I don't. And I'm hoping you know who Yukon Cornelius is, right? The character from the Rudolph Red-Nosed Reindeer animation. Because Bumbles may bounce, but the market sure shit does too.
Restaurant chain. His life was average in just about every way, until one fateful evening when everything took an unexpected turn. The story of Chris Moneymaker began with what most of you are probably doing right now, staring at a screen while trying to kill some time. The year was 2003.
My birth year. It'd only be 22 in like a couple days, right? Might as well just dox myself right now. I'm having my birthday in a couple days.
And online poker had taken America by storm. While the game of poker in one form or another had existed for centuries, its popularity didn't really take off.
Oh yeah, no, I sound a lot older than I am. I actively sound a lot older. No, I'm young, or people could say I'm young. I feel old. I'm Zoomer brain. No, I'm not sure if you're a Zoomer too, but I'm an old man in a young guy's body.
Till the advent.
At least that's the way I like to think of myself. I was raised around boomers. I was a late child, so I had to grow up a lot faster than all my peers did.
Variant. The name of the game is No Limit Hold'em, where players have to make the most out of 5 community cards and just 2 whole cards, which are unknown to the rest.
Question: Motorola or BlackBerry? You gotta answer me. Motorola or BlackBerry? What's better? Motorola. On flip phones, yes. You're a Razr kid. Okay. I like flip phones. I prefer though the slide phones, the old slide tablet tap text phones. That's why I like BlackBerry.
To the table. Like all the best games, Hold'em is easy to understand and difficult to master. But what makes it rather unique is its delicate balance between luck and skill. A game like chess, for example, is entirely skill-based.
No.
The outcome is determined entirely by the strategic mastery of the player. There is really no other way to win besides outplaying your opponent heads up. This leads to fair but predictable results in competitive play, where the winner almost always comes down to the better player. On the opposite side of the spectrum, you have a game like slots. whose outcome is entirely dependent on luck. The player is fully at the mercy of chance, with no way to gain any sort of strategic edge.
Chance in quotation. Yeah, that never use slot machines. I don't gamble, because it's the fool's lottery. It's the fool's tax. I mean, that was early Android faux art, so I guess maybe then it wasn't that good in terms of early Android software. But I personally, I'm rocking a Pixel 6 with some Graphene OS on it. I like it. It does the job well enough.
There is no real difference between new and experienced players, since everyone has equal odds at hitting the jackpot. In slots, anyone can win, but no one has any control over whether they do.
Exactly.
And then, somewhere in the middle, you have poker. A shuffled deck of cards may seem as random as a slot machine, but with enough practice and game sense, skilled players do manage to gain an edge over the competition. That edge is achieved through America's favorite pastime, lying. You see, poker is ultimately a game of information. The advantage...
Okay, two things. One, Mads Mikkelsen, one of my favorite actors, and I loved him in Casino Royale, but that's besides the point. What I loved about poker, and this is a guy who likes studying both drama, theater, not really study, I'm not a theater cadet by any stretch of the imagination, but I enjoy studying kind of how he does it here, and Mads admittedly is a poker player himself. When you're doing poker, you have to learn mastery of every single emotion. Your eyes have to be unglazed, and you can't be hyper-focused on something, but you can't simultaneously be glancing around. You have to make sure, when you're holding a bluff, you have to play the role that you're so confident in what you have to hold that bluff. It's incredible. It's essentially pressuring. Right, otherwise you have a tell, right? Exactly. And this thing, you also have to know how to balance both bluffing and reading someone. Because then if you glance too much, they're going to catch on to you, and they're going to come at you as a shark. That's what I like about card games like this. It's really a mastery of... Actually, it's not just card games. A lot of games, and even Warfare, when it comes to a strategist, there's a lot of bluffs involved. It's how you have to make sure you're at the right call.
Advantage exists in gathering information about your opponent's cards.
I think the funny thing is too is that in Mads, in an interview with Mads Mikkelsen, he admitted that I can't remember his name, who played this iteration of Bond. It's the most recent one. I should know this, but apparently he didn't know how to play poker. He did not know at all how to play poker, and Mads was just embarrassed because also, I can't remember. Jeez, he's a decent actor. It's just even Mads was groaning when he had to do the scene because it's this is impossible to get your hands on these type of cards. Right? Of course, it makes the thematics
information
better.
Can be communicated through betting. Typically, a big bet is supposed to represent a strong hand, but that's not always the case. Since you can never be certain about your opponent's cards, there is always an opportunity for deception. The technique of bluffing allows poker players to overcome losing hands by...
Part of me, and I shouldn't keep pausing the video and cutting off, but a part of me, I'm hoping, is that I got, as a pipe dream, if I ever get big enough as a VTuber, and when I do switch over from a PNG tuber model, if I do get big enough to feel comfortable buying an actual 2D model, I want to host a VTuber poker night, where it's just using our models... Yeah, sorry, Matt Damon. I could not tell you what that one was. But I want to host a poker night for VTubers and just essentially it's the stakes would be the minimum legal or the maximum legal betting you could do without it being considered professional gambling, where it would bypass certain laws. It's just essentially it'd be kind of how they do it with... It sounds very soy in the way I say it, but when you have how Marvel has a running gag in the comic book lines where they have, where the Thing has a poker night for all the mainline heroes, and it's just for casual friendly, maybe throw in $20 and you just play a round of poker and it's just them talking, and some of those more gag comics they used to do back in the 80s and 70s. I kind of thought I liked doing that because imagine the conversationalist pieces you could get playing poker, kind of like how you see how, I think you do a legal tournament on a website, like on Stake or something. It would be cool since I would like to have to buy it. But the thing is, I personally would just want to have it more so like treating it like it's like a basement ordeal where, yeah, it's on a live streaming site. You don't know, no one knows if there's money involved or not. It's just you're playing with chips. It's kind of like how Mahjong's played with, like, a lot of VTubers will play Mahjong against each other. To me, it's kind of like doing that with poker, because like it's very westernized as opposed to something more oriental in terms of a game. But I feel as if Texas Hold'em or five-hand poker would actually do well in terms of conversationalists. Because I'm thinking back to Poker Night at the Inventory by Telltale Games, and ideally just getting that chemistry of shooting the shit around the table at a very low energy but very relaxed environment would just kind of operate on. I feel like that'd be a cool idea if I ever got big enough and could organize something like that, right? That's how I would do a collab. I wouldn't do like quirky games or loud noise. It would just be very methodic, very mellow, very just talk, right?
Pretending to have something stronger. Understanding precisely when to bluff adds a layer of skill and complexity to an otherwise random game. In poker, the best player doesn't always win, but if you play your cards right, you can still stand a fighting chance even when the odds aren't in your favor. Throughout his life, Chris Moneymaker never saw himself as anything more than an amateur player. His only action came from various low-stakes online rooms. Compared to the competition, he was above average, often winning more than he lost. But one day in April 2003, he finds himself on the run of his life.
Of course,
it all started with an $86 buy-in to an online tournament on the site PokerStars.com. After several hours, he is one of the final 4 players remaining. By now, Chris had participated in dozens of these events, but he'd never come this close to winning. Unfortunately, this just so happens to be a tournament he's not trying to win. His initial plan is to flame out in 4th place and collect the $8,000 cash prize to pay off some credit card debt. That's because the grand prize of this tournament is a little unorthodox. Rather than a cash payout, the top 3 finishers will be given a free ticket to the World Series of Poker main event, otherwise known as the most prestigious tournament in all of poker. Chris reasonably concludes that his chances of finishing in the money at such an event would be slim to none, and prepares for the far more sensible option of taking the...
I always hate how hard it was to get funding on these sites. Like, goes for crypto. So everyone can hate on it, but crypto's made this easier. Yeah, no, crypto is not, for now, the way I see it. People think that hard, solid currency is going to completely go by the wayside. And yes, to an extent, tender, like tender or junk coins, as I'm going to call them, like pennies, nickels, dimes, places have dollar coins or or $2 coins, certain countries that are not real nations, hint, hint, a wink, wink, wink. I'm not very patriotic of where I live. Ideally, we're not going to see that many of those come around. Things are being forced, unfortunately, into the digital, consolidated and very authoritarian digital age, but crypto's offered a good way around it. That's not, yeah. But I don't think, because like people often try to scare people off from buying bullion. And I always say buy bullion, because do well in the stocks, and then take your winnings and go buy bullion and buy some hard investment. If you can't get land, get silver, get gold, get stuff that holds value. Like, we're so far away from space exploration as of now, even despite all the advancements we have, we're still in infancy, if not far long away from even getting near space mining. The value of gold is a precious metal that holds its value through its, I don't want to say uses anymore. It doesn't have as many uses as it once did, even for electronics. Because a lot of places have swapped to synthesized composites in places where gold acts as conductors for microprocessors and superprocessors. So gold has lost that usefulness, but in place, palladium, rhodium, platinum, and silver has taken its spot in terms of material value and possession of what it can be used for industry. So I wouldn't be scared of, so I would say always just take what you can and buy stack coins, right? Just stack bars and coins if you want to keep a good investment on the side. But for crypto, I can understand crypto to a certain degree. My cousin does really well in crypto from what he tells me. Take it with a grain of salt, and taxation is pretty heavy on crypto if you don't have a full set wallet or if you don't know what you're doing in full. But I will say that he also has more time to fuck around and watch the market. Meanwhile, I'm always working, and I can't have time to pick up my phone. So I opt not to go with crypto, though I feel like I'm leaving a lot of money on the table because I like it. It's also one of those things that gets ridden on for scams. But then again, every innovation in history has been scammed over with people looking to make a quick buck for snake oil salesmen. I mean, not even just with coins or technology like what we typically think of. For Christ's sake, steam locomotives and even aircraft were sold by hucksters who would claim wondrous specifications and technology of their machines and sell patents and false patents or false contracts to governments and then run away with money. Yeah, selling fake coins. I mean, that's like when people try to say, "Oh, sir, I have coins from you from India, sir," or big white man, I sell you good Chinese gold. You rack it wrong. You rack gold rack. Like, whenever I hear that, I kind of go. I look at it with a cockeyed look. I'm very Jade. No, Jade especially is the worst, man. Like, gems. Like, I don't trust the gem market. Like, a gem is only valued. The main value of a gem, and the way certain gems get so up there in price, like diamonds too, it's not because of their material, because you can get a whole huck of diamonds, like a rock of it, for far cheaper than you can get a single cut. It depends on who's cutting it, the mastery of the cut. That's what makes the value of a diamond or a gemstone. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole, but like I don't trust a lot of that. I don't trust certain nations with certain coins. How I buy coins, like, for example, I love Krugerlands, the South African silver. I don't buy South African gold, though. I don't really trust how much trust left in the South African government for that part. Not like you should anyways. The South African government's pretty weird. If you want security, there's a premium added to it. The Canadian Mint leaf coins are considered in the coin field the most secure and fraudulent-free coins to get into, especially post-2022, because they've added new installed systems into the coin itself with barcodes and QR codes minted and stamped to the coin. Yeah, Buffalo pennies. You can get a stupid shit like that. I'd say either go for set federal mints or long-running mints. But if it depends on how much security there is, there's premiums involved. And of course, the shop that's going to sell you to it, because you can't. There's only dealers who can sell this stuff to you, and yeah, you're going to be paying a premium for that too. So it's depending on what you want to do. It's best to buy in bulk than just to buy one at a time. Absolutely. And if you can buy like a choice between a 10-ounce bar and 10 ounces of 1-ounce coins, then go for the bar. It's cheaper.
Money right in front of him. However, in the heat of the moment, he stops to reconsider his options. While he really wants to cash out, his friends and family are far more excited about the alternative. After mulling it over for a bit, they eventually convince him to answer the call to adventure, under one condition. Unwilling to leave so much money on the table, Chris wants some insurance. His World Series ticket is equivalent to a $10,000 price of admission, and he intends to sell off some of that equity. His father offers him $2,000 in cash for a 20% stake, but Chris is not exactly sold yet. Before going through with it, he needs a little more investment from a friend who was willing to take a gamble. His name is Dave Gamble.
I love the writing of our lifetime, isn't it great?
I swear I'm not making any of this up. It all sounds absurd, I know, but it's not as unusual as you may think. Another interesting quirk of probability is that eventually, strange coincidences are bound to happen. On very rare occasions, order emerges from chaos. And one spring day in 2003, a man named Moneymaker and a man named Gamble walked into a casino. Do you think they were feeling lucky?
Well, do you, punk? Do you feel lucky?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, here's the thing. Fortune favors the bold.
You don't have to gamble to take home more money.
But misfortune
when it comes to personal
loves
finance,
the
you can
foolish.
finally get an edge with
So,
today's sponsor,
You gotta know,
Rocket
I
Money.
suppose as the
If
song
I had
The
to
Gambler
bet on
goes, you gotta know when to
anything,
hold, know
I'd
when to
say
fold
there's a
them.
pretty good chance most of you are
And-
wasting money on old and unwanted subscriptions. Dealing with
It
these
just-
things is
I
enough to
suppose
put anyone
I
on
would-
tilt. So skip the hassle with the Rocket
You'd have
Money
to know
app.
the guy inside
Just
out.
log
Maybe
in
they
and
had-
cancel
maybe they had
any
enough faith
recurring
in
charges in a
Mr.
couple of
Moneymaker.
taps.
They
You don't
did
need to
it,
be an
and
accountant
I'm
to
sorry,
get
I'm
your
talking
budget
about
in
the
order.
app. I shouldn't have
Rocket
done this.
Money helps you meet your
'Cause
financial goals with automated spending limits and
This
savings
Rocket Money
plans.
ad, like, I-
They will even negotiate bills for you on your behalf. At last, you can become the moneymaker you were always meant to be. Rocket Money is all in on your financial future. So stop folding to wasteful
Yeah, that
expenses.
whole entire-
Don't
See, I don't
flush
trust
away
these
your
ads.
fortunes
I-
any longer and head
just say go
straight
for
to the link
brokerage,
in the
go into
description
that.
below.
That's my
Visit
thing. I don't need shit. I don't need anything else.
rocketmoney.com/amplemon
works,
to
it
get
works. If it
started
doesn't,
for
it doesn't.
free.
I go
And
for a
before
private
long,
broker,
you can
like,
finally
app
save
that's
enough for that
reliable.
trip to Vegas.
Avoid Robinhood. They shot themselves in the foot
A
post.
poker tournament will inevitably guide the
take your
player
pick.
to one of two
Put it in.
outcomes. You either
Honestly,
end
you'll
up
be paying
with no
fees for it,
chips
but that's
or
okay.
all of the chips.
And,
The
yeah,
2003
you have
main
full control of your own
event featured
stocks.
a record-setting
When no one's
field
talking
of
in your ear.
839 competitors, each beginning with a chip stack of 10,000. In the next 5 days, there will be just one player left standing, holding on to the entire supply of 8.39 million. The reward for this monumental task is a payday of $2.5 million. So, if you want to become the champion, you gotta start taking people's chips. A job that's easier said than done. In poker, you lose chips just by sitting at the table. The system of blinds and antes
Oh, meant
puts
for staking for people, not stocks. Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, putting stakes in people is also a good. Well, that's not a good investment at all. Like, it's crazy how much we invest in, like, or bet on gamble and certain, like, outcomes and events. It's become almost a parody of itself, right?
each player on a timer. If you just sit around waiting, your stack will gradually bleed out into nothing. The only way to increase your chip count is to start winning hands, which cannot be done without putting your own chips at risk. Eventually, the design of the game forces you into making aggressive decisions in order to make progress. The only problem is that it's hard to be aggressive when you're going face to face with the best in the world. Unlike other prestigious competitions, the WSOP main event is peculiar in being open to the public. It doesn't matter if you just learned how.
I think M's going to get to the end of it on this video, but I mean, if something like this is something he covers, it's bound to be something that's a turning point. So the reason why it was so little then and so large now due to the pool, outside of inflation, I got a feeling it might have to be with something with Moneymaker
to
himself.
play on the cab ride over. As long as you pay the price of admission, you have a seat at the table with the masters of the game. It's the equivalent of driving your car onto the grid of the Indy 500. But make no mistake about it, poker's elite are more than happy to welcome a bunch of amateurs to the party. To them, it's like letting in more minnows to the Shark Tank.
Yeah.
As Chris Moneymaker arrived at his table on day one of competition, he's certainly feeling like fresh meat. His goal at this point is to simply survive until day 2. Just an hour into the game, he's already encountered his first roadblock, a player by the name of Jim Worth, better known by his screen name Crazy Canuck. Chris immediately recognizes him as a powerful
That's a
foe
boomer
from his
name if I've
online
heard of it.
games. It's not long before the Crazy Canuck sees Chris as an easy target. He starts playing Chris
Yeah,
more aggressively
I
and
wouldn't be
taking his
surprised if it
chips.
was, man.
Eventually, Chris realizes that he won't survive for long as the weak link, so he starts fighting back. After flexing some muscle with a few big bets, he gets his rival to back off, taking some pots in the process. By the end of the afternoon, he's actually up a few thousand chips and feeling pretty good about himself. Players are busting out of the tournament already and he's sitting on a decent cushion. After studying the other players at the table, he likes his chances. He's got everyone else mostly figured out, except for one fellow, an older gentleman in a green polo. Chris doesn't recognize him until he looks over at the side of the venue and sees his
What's that old saying go? in a profession where young men die, or men die young, or I guess in this case, where men fold young, always beware of the old man.
Picture on the wall. All this time, Chris had been playing alongside the 1995 champion Dan Harrington, and he didn't even know it. The realization was a stark reminder that he was still very much out of his depth, and that in this tournament, threats are lurking around
also,
every corner.
But
after this moment, something interesting happens. Chris gets moved to a different table and starts running hot. He picks up several strong hands, makes a few good calls, and all of a sudden finds himself behind a stack of 60,000.
He's got the Oakleys. He's got the, oh my god, he's got the, I want to say the Guy Fieri goatee. He's got the Oakleys on. This is peak 2000s dadcore. Yeah, exactly. You can tell who's a tourist and who was there every day. Exactly right, for art. Like that's just on point. Yeah, he's peak 2003. Yeah, absolutely. This is dadcore to the max. Like, this is not even Nickelback. Like that's not dadcore enough for this guy. This guy needs to be into like some sort of listening to just some tribute bands or just covers of classic rock, but made for the new times. He's got to be into something. He's got to have the his dream of car is a Corvette, but all he has is the Camaro right now. That's what this guy is.
Chips. In fact, he wraps up day 1 in 11th place overall. He's in such good shape that he can actually sleep well that night. Unfortunately, he ends up sleeping a little too well. The next morning, Chris wakes up to a horrifying sight. He has overslept the beginning of day 2. While frantically rushing to the casino floor, he assumes that he's just been disqualified, throwing away the single biggest opportunity of his life. When he gets down to the tables, people wonder what he's so worked up about. He then notices his stack of chips waiting for him at an open seat. Turns out all that panic was just...
squeezing Oakleys. I make fun of them, but I'm at that age now, yeah. I mean, we're all getting up there in age. Oh, Chipsy Cell. I haven't seen, yeah, that's the bleeding edge of the two YGK with the fat squeezing Oakleys. Absolutely. Now, ironically, Chippy Cell, you came here from the Kirsche clip that what's his face posted on Twitter, right? Because I'm saying is those red glasses I'm wearing, those are my prescription Oakleys. I wear rose tinted Oakleys because I do a lot of work at night. So I have to adjust my eyes to nighttime operations, and I couldn't get my hands on any Mountaineer glasses with the side skirts on them to protect the vision. Oakley's do prescription. You can actually buy the frames, and you can actually buy the lenses that are prescription and set to your certain after you get your eyes tested. You can do that, yeah. And I bought rosé ones because I need something that would help me with transition to nighttime. They're transition lenses regardless, but I need something that would operate for nighttime. But like, I'm criticizing this guy for wearing the playing at the time he had circular glasses. They have etched the snake mouth. The dude looked like he sold insurance. Yeah, no. But like, I'm making fun of these Oakleys this guy's rocking right now. But ironically enough, I'm wearing Oakleys too. It's just like I'm doing the goth style, right? I wanted to do the Alucard glasses with the Wilson safety glasses like Alucard has, but I couldn't find any Mountaineer glasses that could fit, right? So all I had was those.
Just another rookie mistake. Chris eventually settles back into the game and seems to pick back up where he left off. He's able to capitalize off his chip advantage and bully some weaker players off their hands, even knocking some opponents out of the tournament. After several hours, he's built his stack up to 180,000. However, this surge of momentum changes course when 2 new players arrive at the table. One of them is Phil Ivey, who is regarded today as possibly the greatest poker player.
I'm getting some serious vibes here of, it'd be too easy to say Lance Reddick, so I'm gonna say RuPaul meets Kevin Hart. That's what I'm getting from him.
In history. The other is Johnny Chan, who at this time is poker's biggest celebrity. The 2-time main event champion was iconic enough to show up in Hollywood movies, and was one of the only players that Chris immediately recognized. Just as soon as they appear, they start cleaning him out. No matter what he tries, Chris is simply no match for the pro.
Phil Ivy's giving you blackjacks over the counting machine. You know what? I mean, a card stuffer machine. Yeah, those. Oh my god. Okay. You know what? That's ingenious. Like, people whimper about cheating, and yes, to a certain degree, when it's cheating that's so flagrant, and then of course when judges will hand wave it away, that, you know, obviously that's shit. But there are certain cheaters in history, whether it be, I mean, for myself being a motorsports fanatic, people know about the Celica, the Toyota team, rally team in Group A with their turbo bypass cheat that they did with the turbo plate, that even the judges said it was such a well-designed machine piece of engineering that they were willing to let just Toyota compete for the rest of the season, so long as they admitted that they cheated. They wouldn't strip them because they were so impressed of how well machined it was. Or I can't remember this guy's name. I can't remember. He was one of the largest cheaters in NASCAR. Literally filled up. Literally made his fuel line so large, he was able to carry an extra 4 gallons of fuel with him in his car. And when they removed his fuel tank for being out of regulation, he just drove the whole damn thing up. No, it wasn't Dale Earnhardt. No. It was an older gentleman. I cannot remember his name for the life of me. But he literally drove a car without a fuel tank because he had that much fuel in the fuel lines themselves to drive it, because that's how big he made them. He made his fuel tower 30 feet high in the air, because fuel at that height with different pressures and changing from gravity will have a quicker drop rate into it for when it's for flow. So it has a quicker flow rate from that height. So when the car would go in for fuel up, they would open the nozzle and it would just drop right into it, and essentially the car would just, shock would bounce as it would take the fuel right into the tank. It would just geyser into it. It was nuts. So, like, I have respect for cheaters that are good at what they are, their craft. I just don't have respect for those who get the officials on their side, right? Because admittedly, if it's not a rule that was thought to be written down, can you really call it cheating, or can you call it reading the rules well?
They're just too intimidating and too aggressive for him to get any sort of edge. By the end of the day, Ivy and Chan have drained his stack down to just over 100,000. The setback knocks him down to 26th place in the standings. Although he's losing ground on the leaders, Chris is still holding his own. By the end of day 2, there are just over 100 players left in the tournament.
Yeah.
If he can hang on one more day, then he's actually on pace to finish in the money.
So far, he just figured out a great mathematical edge. Still to this day, I don't know what it is. That's the thing. Never tell your trade secrets. He figured something out, and he held on to it. I respect game. I see game. I respect game. Good on Ivy for that, like, honestly.
But surviving at this stage in the tournament is easier said than done. By now, the cream has risen to the top, and the pool of unskilled opponents has dried up. No matter where he lands tomorrow, he's going to be swimming with the sharks.
Shaft, not shaft. We're serious, come on.
Day 3 of the tournament begins with another complication for Chris. He manages to wake up on time, but now he's having trouble finding his table. After searching for a while, he has to stop and ask one of the organizers, who points all the way down to the end of the venue, past a crowd of spectators and into the center of a bunch of lights and cameras.
Oh no.
Chris had been assigned to the TV table.
One more man I have to mention before we get underway at our featured table. His name is Chris Moneymaker.
As if the situation couldn't get any more nerve-wracking, his seat is sandwiched between a murderer's row of poker pros.
Yep.
Joining him at the table are Paul Darcy.
It's a funny thing, as the saying goes, if you can't figure out who the sucker is at the table, you're the sucker. Yeah. Now, honestly, it's something you got to learn, and it's also something you have to learn how to turn on others.
Howard Lederer, and the familiar foe in Johnny Chan. When the action begins, Chris is too afraid to play a hand. He's almost mesmerized watching the clash of poker titans in front of him.
My experience with poker was like going to like dive bars. I mean, my parents would take me to like so-called family restaurants. Like, they were really just kind of like hole in the walls. I like his drawings. Yeah, no, the artist he got for the video was pretty good. I like what the guy's done with it. What I was saying though is that I don't really know these names. like you're just reading their statistics of what they have for championships, and it's just like, oh shit, these are big guys. But for most part, I don't know much about poker in terms of like professional wise. I just play for like tits and pickles, I guess. And I don't really like. But then even then, you can see a sport, or you can see a competition, and I don't even know who's the big dog of it. But yet you'll figure it out in very quickly.
He remarks at how effortlessly they toss their chips into the pot, as if the huge amounts of money they're throwing around are of no concern to them.
You got suckered in by the temptation, didn't you? That I can do a better story. Yeah.
These are the true high rollers of the game, playing next to an average Joe who's never taken home more than 40 grand in a year. Chris figures that he might as well use this opportunity to study the masters. He tries to get in their head and understand how they think. After several hands of staring down the pros, he notices a couple of them are staring back. He imagines it's some kind of mind game, a spontaneous test of will to see if he's truly worthy of being in their presence. This sublime moment is eventually broken when Johnny Chan speaks.
Oh yeah, no, sport betting time playing to waste time. Oh, okay. No, I thought I could carve a niche for it. No, thought I could carve a niche because there was a lot of idiots from sport betting at the time playing for waste time. Yeah, I did okay. It wasn't a good tournament player. No. You know what? Honestly, if you can clean house a little bit, then by all means, all props to you. It's just you hear enough of those stories of the guy of a thing that happens, and it's whether it be completely fictitious or based on a true story, which is mostly fictitious, and people think they can do that in that certain niche or hobby or field or sport or even profession, and it's just no, you can't, right? You're not gonna be the next, like, you watch Rudy and now you're gonna go play baseball. No, you're not gonna be in the MLB. You're now in your 15, and you've been smacking on chips watching baseball, but you never actually picked up the bat. You're never gonna make it to the MLB at that point. It's just some people overhype themselves without grounding themselves and looking at, like, taking something seriously and working their way through it. It's just they want that immediate end result, right? Yeah, you watch Airbud. I can go play baseball as good as the dog. No, dude, they had so many Airbud movies, man. It was basketball, baseball, everything, right? But like it's the same thing with me with VTubing, right? Because like everyone thinks they can hop on stream, and even then, I'm the small nobody. I'm completely thankful for that raid tonight from Ember. I mean, I watched the end clip when the power came back on. She said, well, I was trying to raid him beforehand, but I just never could. I'm like, shit, like she's helping up small streamers like this. I'm like, that's very nice of her, but the way I say it is, like, some people see VTubing and streaming as like an easy out for a lot of things, and or they see a lot of different careers as easy outs for a lot of things, and it's just a matter of, no, you gotta look at it first ground basis. Yeah, she always raised small VTubers. Yeah, I'm happy for her. She seems like a good person. She seems like a decent person. I'm not gonna say good person because I don't know her. I haven't watched her content, I'm afraid. But I will give kudos, and I on Twitter I did add her saying thank you. I really appreciate it. But what I was trying to get at is that, you get into something and you want to be at the top already off the hop. You want to imagine yourself with luster and glory, and you're the zenith of your peak, and you're just like a steam locomotive traveling along. You just gotta ground yourself with reality and just look at the start of each thing you want to go to, like baby steps at a time. It's just like with learning any skill set or learning a new thing. Only downside, she's Canadian. I got bad news for you, Chief. She likes gun videos. Yeah, no. You'd be surprised how many of us do like gun videos. Yeah, I got bad news for you, Philart. Of her being Canadian. Yeah, you lived in Ottawa. How was the river with the canal and skating on it? I don't think you get what I'm alluding to here, man. I know the economic pain. I know that Leafland sucks. Why do you think it's snowing? Why do you think I got my power knocked out with snow? Yeah. Anywho, but don't worry. I'm not a yeah, Canada #1. I'm actually in this country you can identify as whatever you want, right? And supposedly you can identify whatever crazy asinine thing you want. I sexually and I physically identify as an American citizen. Though I will never enter America, unfortunately, because I would rather enter America the legal, proper routes and do things for a nation that I want to be a part of. As opposed to just, acting like an asshole. Then again, I'm too pale-skinned to, we will liberate you just have to bait Trudeau. Oh, no, it's Carney. It's not Trudeau anymore, it's Carney. Ironically, that last name, though, that last name is still something that still kicks me for laughing. He is such a Carney. You're exotic? A clown? Yeah, I'm not kidding, that's his last name. Chipsio, yeah, no, Canada's Prime Minister's last name is Carney. You didn't know that? The one that's currently in operation? That's Carney. Carney. I'm not shitting you. That is his actual name. Vaudeville and all. Yeah. Try to find an American wife since you're exotic? Fort. I guess I have a propensity to attract black women, so they find me exotic, but I would be considered Hyperborean if I didn't have dark eyes and dark hair. I'm very fair skinned. Yeah, Chipsio, I'm not. Yeah, Kirsha doesn't cover it, but this is actual last name.
Up to remind Chris that it's his turn. When he realizes what happened, he just about turns red. Chris got so caught up.
Ford, who's going to hear this accent and think that's exotic. That is exotic. Oh, Sirius Kovac, you handsome devil, you, with your delightful Canadian accent. Oh, just splendid. You have such a way with words, mon chéri.
Up in his own head that he forgot to fold his cards.
You say from Quebec and most humiliating. Fuck no. Have you heard Quebecois? Ford, do you know what Quebecois sounds like? Think the most guttural German and then speak French with it and then twist a couple words for dialect. That's what Quebecois is.
Blunder of the tournament.
It's worse Cajun.
And it was all caught on camera. He had just exposed himself as the biggest fish at the table. His only saving grace is that the broadcast is on tape delay, and that the debacle may not end up airing. Johnny Chan tries to reassure him that a gaffe like that will never see the light of day. Unless, of course, he wins. At this moment, something changed within Chris Moneymaker. While many others would have crumbled under the embarrassment, Chris ended up responding to the situation in an unexpected way. He feels oddly relaxed, like he has nothing left to fear. He starts to realize that his lack of experience offers him a unique advantage. He may be a no-name player, but that also makes him an X-Factor. After spending the whole tournament in their shadow, he begins to turn the tables on the pros. A few hands later, Chris goes head-to-head with Howard Lederer. He gets dealt a pair of aces, the strongest opening hand in the game, and recognizes that now is the time to strike. After a few rounds of betting, Moneymaker shoves all in. Lederer has him covered in chips, meaning that if Chris loses, he's out of the tournament. Lederer thinks for a while and ultimately decides to fold, allowing Chris to
I'm so sorry, man. I'll go buy the Creed CDs for you, okay? It's okay, old man. We're gonna roll you into the retirement home.
Collect a nice pot. It started to look like the momentum was back on Chris's side, a trend that became apparent after his showdown with Johnny Chan. Ever since the stare down, Chan had been struggling, and his situation was starting to get desperate. Just before the dinner break, Moneymaker gets dealt an ace-8 of hearts, and decides he wants to tangle with the master.
Chans are brutal. Maybe it's just me, but Pit Vipers don't really do much for me, or those speedwear glasses that Moneymaker's wearing, but Chans are brutal.
By now, the other players have exited the table, leaving only the challenger
Some
and
Gucci
the
ones,
champion.
yeah, they're
The
very.
flop comes with 2 hearts and an ace, putting Moneymaker in
every
great
6 seconds.
shape.
Give me death. Yo, man. Okay. Chipiso. Saliva. Doperide. Did you ever watch Monster Jam at all? Because I grew up on that shit. All I'm thinking of here is Doperite, and I'm seeing Maximum Destruction doing backflips. That's all I have in my head when you bring up Saliva. That's all I have going on in my head right now.
After Chan raises him, he decides to shove all in. Chan makes the call, putting his tournament life at risk. He turns over the King 5 of hearts. Moneymaker jumps out of his seat. He has Chan dominated, with 87% odds to win the hand. Just one other card is all it takes to seal the deal. Chris Moneymaker had just busted the most famous player in the tournament.
I sat with the best in the world. And I won.
All of a sudden, this unsuspecting accountant from Tennessee had stumbled into the script of a Hollywood movie. Through all the commotion, he secured a spot in the top 45, good enough for a payout of at least $25,000. However, for the first time in the tournament, Chris starts to set his sights on something greater. By the end of day 3, he's sitting on 357,000 chips, good enough for 6th place overall. If he can maintain his position for one more day of action, he's on pace to make the final table, where the prize money gets truly life-changing.
Ooh. Yeah. Sounds bars.
By day 4 of the main event, the demeanor of the room is noticeably different. The pleasantries of small talk and friendly banter have been replaced with an air of tension and unease. At this point, the players can no longer ignore what's at stake. From here on out, there's no more friends, no more patience, and no more room for error. In the next 48 hours, a champion will be crowned, and everyone has their eyes on the prize. After knocking out Johnny Chan, Chris Moneymaker is now on everybody's radar, and the pros are eager to prove that his hot streak is nothing more than a lucky break. His first challenge comes from Umberto Brenes, otherwise known as the Shark. After a couple of big bets, Brenes lures Chris into shoving all in with just a pair of eights. When Chris sees him turn over aces, he knows he's in trouble. Brenes has him almost dead to rights.
Am I crazy? Was Brenes wearing two shades? He's got his reading glasses on, and he's got green hair. He's got his then aviators, and then he's wearing a bowler's cap. What the hell is going on?
With a 92% chance of taking the
this
pot.
Was very much
However, Moneymaker's luck hasn't run out yet.
Here comes the turn, and it's an 8 of clubs. The last card is no help to Brenes, and he has been eliminated.
Remarkably, Moneymaker gets bailed out by an unlikely set of eights that sends the Shark packing. This moment is a huge wake-up call for Chris, who understands that he just dodged a bullet. The spectacle certainly hasn't helped him shake the perception of a lucky amateur, but as the day goes on, he actually begins to prove his worth. Howard Lederer is the next pro to go after Chris, confronting him with another all-in bet. This time, Chris makes the right call and lays down his cards. After that, he gets involved with the 1998 champion Scotty Nguyen. Chris immediately makes another correct read and bluffs him off his hand. After stealing a pot from one of the best in the world, Moneymaker decides to take things a bit further.
Sketches, but I want to see the
Facing off against French millionaire Chuck Huang, he pulls off another bluff, and this time shows his cards to the table. His rivals are shocked to see that Chris had been holding absolute junk. For the first time, the other players are finally starting to see him as a credible threat. Halfway through the action, Chris is down to the final 22 and remains in 6th place on the leaderboard. The final table is looking more and more likely, but he still has plenty of foes standing in his way. Chris's next showdown would come against Dutch Boy, another young gun who'd spent most of the afternoon with the chip lead. As the story goes, he had grown up as some kind of boy genius.
Tight and not a loose player. Yeah, no, he seemed to be very well coordinated, but things with very loose, not just poker, but just players overall. Anyone who's very tight in a field of profession or sport or in a form of competition. It's like being very fine-tuned. Yes, they can play magically, but one miss move, one miss pluck, that's it. They crumble apart. someone with a bit more wiggle room for error and a bit more robust in terms of what they can do and their skill set tends to go a lot further.
Earning his master's in law at just the age of 18. As fate would have it, he would end up using his profound intellect to play cards for a living. He spent the whole tournament outsmarting the competition, until he ends up face to face with Chris Moneymaker. Chris jumps in the action with a pair of threes. The flop is a bunch of low cards, which improve his odds a bit, so he bets. Dutch stares him down for a while, and then raises all in. Chris is now slated with his toughest decision of the tournament. If he makes the call and he's wrong, it's game over. A pair of threes is far from the best hand. There are many other combinations of cards that outright beat it here. Chris thinks for a long time. He considers all the different angles and possibilities, but at the end of it all, he just doesn't buy the story. Moneymaker calls and Dutch is beside himself. He's been caught out on a stone-cold bluff. The next two cards are no help for him, and Chris doubles up to 1.2 million chips. Dutch.
Well, the term for poker is, it means how many hands you play. You will play and how much you will bet based upon position, etc. If you're loose, you will play more crappy stuff like 72 suit. Okay, so it means you're a bit more reckless. It means you're not foolhardy, but you're a bit more. What's the word for it? Good. What's a good word for this? You are a bit more, I guess I want to say more chaotic in your style of play. You have a large range. Yeah, exactly.
Ask him if he exploited some kind of hidden tell. He doesn't believe that a player like him could have possibly made such a read. Chris simply responds that he had a gut feeling. Oftentimes in poker, instincts matter more than intellect. Moments later, Dutch Boyd is knocked out of the tournament in 12th place. And before long, Chris has survived into the top 10, one spot away from the final table. This is where the competition reaches a bottleneck. For the pros, making the final table is a point of pride, and no one wants to be the odd man out. The game slows to a crawl as every player tightens up.
Look at these outfits. Look at this. We're in a Francis basketball jersey. This dude's got rocking the all green camo with the visor on. Chops right here all the way down. Morbidly obese lady over here. Another morbidly obese lady. Look at the black Nike hat with the deep shades. You can see the mustache there. With the cowboy motif. Yeah, that cowboy, cowgirl, or just cow outright. You tell me.
The stalemate extends well past midnight. Chris has now been playing poker for over 13 hours straight. Under the mounting exhaustion, he's trying his best to weather the storm, until he sees an opportunity.
Western, I guess. I mean, it is Vegas. I am making, I guess, a low blow gut punch for the weight, I guess, but that's just me. As I mentioned on stream before, I am the actually, I'm not gonna repeat the nickname I was given by my gym buddies, but I have a fervent hatred for fat chicks, or just fervent disdain for sloth and gluttony.
With ace queen, Chris hits a set.
If you want to change yourself, by all means, I'll give you all the advice you want. But if you're doing the I guess tangent is if you're trying to do the every the body the beauty married one, it's justified. Okay. Oh, you married? Oh, you married a fat girl. Oh no, divorced now. Yeah, okay. See.
After announcing.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry to hear about that, man. I'm sorry about that for art.
Suspecting 9 on the.
I get insulted by fat chicks at the gym. I get called a twink. And then I just like lay into them. Because it's like, okay, speak softly and let's let the dogs of war. Granted, I'm fat too, but I work on it. Good on you, man. Good on you. I might do some streams where I just talk about fitness, because I do know some great just general basics of weight loss and fitness and everything. So if anyone wants like advice streams, I'd be more than happy to do so. Not tonight. We're gonna call this video after this video's done. I'm gonna call it a night.
Turn. He likes his chances and bets big.
Yeah, I got work tomorrow
He would have
morning.
felt even better if he wasn't challenging Phil Ivey, the most dangerous player left in the field. Immediately, he proves why that's the case and raises all in. Chris makes the call.
I know Baxter used to talk about. Yeah, no, I know Baxter used to do it too. Oh no, I know who Baxter is. I watched Kirsha, and I fell through into the part-time super terrorist, and I fell into watching Baxter. I know he was a male VTuber, but he turned to a IRL streamer. Don't tell him I said this. He looks like a knockoff Tectone. But granted, I like Baxter over Tectone. Just Eggy Man's not really my shtick. I like Baxter a lot more. You'd be surprised. Like, maybe in a VTuber sphere, I do watch some VTubers, quite a few actually, but I think mainly my favorite streamers are guys. Almighty Lolly, Punish Shota, those are the names. Yeah, he's way big into horror stuff. Yeah, I know he watches all the chills and all those things. I like ER, if you know who that is. He did the Life is Tumblr video back in 2016. I also watch, for other male streamers, I like Kolaws. Kolaws is great. Johan the Butcher. Maybe? Not really. I mean, I prefer Moonshine over Johan. Ken Ashcorp. I watch when he streams, because, I mean, I like his music, but I definitely love his streams. It's just, Ken, my brother in Christ. I'm completely straight, but can we please not have the ball bouncing around on your bunny model, please? Yeah, way too twinking. That's the problem with male VTubers. A lot of them are play the whole femboy twink thing because that's what makes money, right? You can tell, I'm going to say this here, by my voice, I can't do that, and I won't do that. In fact, when I do get my male model, you'll see more of the musculature on this, but I'm not going to play into the whole twink thing. If you look down where I'm going to have my mouse over right now, if you look at my little subscribe thing here, this is my profile photo. And the artist I had this do, he was shocked in the sense of like, you're not doing like a cutesy thing. I said, no, I want an Apocalypse Now. I want my profile photo to look like the Apocalypse Now poster. I want to be a bit more, not edgy, but I want to be like, I'm a dude. I'm a guy who has a bit more masculine tastes, or not just masculine, because I'm very much feminine with like clothing, or like I do have some more feminine taste, but it's not like I'm not like a femboy or anything like that. I mean, for Christ's sake, I lift hundreds of pounds. I have one viewer, but holy shit, are they lol. I'm a power armored. Absolutely, man. You know what? You found the one guy, and if you're just streaming them for fun, by all means. I get guys from Almighty Lolly's stream sometime on my chats. Name is Derek B52. He's been watching my Fuga Melodies of Steel streams when I play them. Yeah, that's true. It's that. But you know what? Don't be discouraged. It's only like this in the Western sphere. Eastern sphere, it's a lot different, but truth be told, male VTubers, I mean, with women, their shelf life is very short too, IRL, and a lot of the larger female VTubers you're seeing now are very much of that mentality where they're now showing themselves off on their Fansly and OnlyFans, which is why I have a rule and guideline where I won't allow any collaborations with people who do that type of content on my stream, because I'm like, I don't promote that shite. But mainly it's because mean girl behavior will eventually crumble on them in the end, and men will tend to have longer careers and streams because, fuck's sakes, we are more... we just operate ourselves with a bit more comedic, right? Comedy, right? Yeah, exactly. Women, aren't exactly as common. They don't, like, their shelf life will be quicker. Yeah, except for nerd girls. Yeah, that used to be the case. I will say probably, yeah, they were fun to watch. No, exactly. Back in the day, I guess that's the case. I can't say I didn't watch Twitch back in that day. I was more on YouTube. I mean, of course, I was young, so what are you gonna do?
And to his horror, Ivy turns over a pair of 9s. With a pair of queens already on the board, it's good for a full house, blowing Chris's hand away. His odds of winning have plummeted to just 17%. Ivy did everything right, and provided another reminder of why many consider him to be the best to ever play. In the future, he'll go on to win
also
dozens.
Forward, because I might as well just spurk a little bit, and if Chipsio's here too. The model I have right now, well, it is a PNG tuber. I did buy the model set for the to have a rigging done effective whenever I wanted to, but I want to just like quickly spurg out. You may notice I have these weird hand symbols or signatures I'm doing right now. These are all based off albums I enjoy. This one where I'm talking is the Court of the Crimson King, with the Crimson King outreaching his hands towards the Schizoid Man on the album cover. And that idle one you see there is the best iteration my artist could do for the Fleetwood Mac Penguin doing "Oh Well." That's why I have the hand up to the ear. That's because the penguin is holding a cane and has a top hat, and he's supposed to be like using an eargram to listen closer and says "Oh well." That's I do enjoy like adding like little articulate details into my work of who I actually am. But like, you know, rather than doing all the cutesy stuff, it's like, hey, this guy's a lot more. This guy has some, you know, it's just things I want. Like I actually come from a, I'm never gonna wear a fedora, don't you worry. I'm actually thinking about, because part of my heritage, and I'm wanting to kind of go a bit more militarist style, but I want to seem like I'm going to the Nazi bull style of figuring. I want to have some things that call back to my German and to my multiple European heritage. I want to have a Gott mit uns Prussian army, not German Second World War, but like Imperial Prussian army belt buckle, and I want to have an M43 ski cap for the attire to go with the mechanic's uniform, because I just feels like that's a bit more refinement for that, you know. But for now, this model suffices. It does great for what I want.
Of tournaments, but as fate would have it, this was not one of them.
It's an 8!
An incredible knockout blow for probably the best player left in the tournament.
The river card is an ace, giving Moneymaker a superior full house. Ivy is out of the tournament in 10th place, and Chris has advanced to the final table as the overall chip leader. An amateur player who just a month ago was stressing out over $8,000 is now in prime position to take home $2.5 million. Thus far, it's been a great story. Inspirationally,
Stirs the loins. That's cooler, because I was about to recommend just go super Canadian and become buff Mountie, since that stirs the loins of women somehow. No, I don't. I'm not gonna do that. Not really much. I don't know. The Mountie uniform doesn't really look that good personally. Like I personally just think it just kind of looks a bit goofy. The hat doesn't really do much for me, but I respect it. No, because you gotta remember, I'm not really patriotic. I mean, this country kind of betrayed me outright, so I'm just kind of like, you know, I don't really want to show for it or promote it, walk around it with it. I'm more concerned with what goes in America, because that affects me economically a lot more, and I'm more concerned just about trade deals and everything. And I'm just kind of like, I don't give a shit about the cultural stuff. Well, I do, but I don't. Like, I'm still like waving on patriotic flags and being fake Canadian now. Like, I don't want to hear about it. I don't know. Honestly, I wish it was like Sergeant Johnson from Halo, because I don't, but Sergeant Johnson, he once said, "I know what the ladies like," and frankly, I don't. So I don't. You might have a better in on that being the best idea for a model, but quite frankly, I might just stick with just being the mechanic guy, because I think I'm thinking a bit more. I think I just kind of like this idea of doing this.
But if we're being realistic,
this is terrible. I get a blue helmet model. No. Honestly, if I did that, because my idea for a summer model is to either do the Hawaiian shirt with like cargo shorts, but I was thinking of doing a dock uniform, you know, debadged and everything, like the Africa Corps uniform, and I feel like wearing the UN blue hat would be a lot worse in that regard, because oh boy, we don't talk about what they did down in Africa now, do we?
This has to be the part where we step out of Neverland. He's made some great plays, toppled some of the best in the game, and even seems to have luck on his side. But at some point, Chris's inexperience is gonna come back to bite him, and he's gonna get beat. His best course of action now should be to coast off his lead, enjoy the ride, and wait for the inevitable. However, the man named Moneymaker has other plans.
You got this.
The law of large numbers states that after enough trials, everything eventually regresses to the mean. 4 days ago, Chris had never set foot in a real-life poker tournament, and now finds himself leading the most important event of the year. He's about as big of a statistical outlier as they come, and all this time, everyone has been waiting for the other shoe to drop on the online fish. But for as long as the pros have believed this, Chris has continued to pick them off one by one. He starts the final day of competition by knocking out David Gray. A while later, he takes out Tomer Benveniste, followed by Jason Lester, bringing Moneymaker into the top 3. The next one to fall is Dan Harrington, the original Spectre who haunted him all the way back at his very first table. And with that, Chris Moneymaker had only one player left to beat. His final opponent is Sam Farha.
I can't tell if this guy's trying to impersonate Le Chiffre, or if the remake Le Chiffre was supposed to impersonate him. Because, good lord, that is just a smug, smarmy grin you can see on his face, and he plays it up too.
Who resembles the dictionary definition of a poker professional.
He might be a nice guy, but I don't know.
Cunning, unflappable, and visibly richer than you.
Oh yeah.
Chris has come face to face with his complete antithesis, a seasoned veteran who's finally gonna put the scrappy underdog in his place. There's a break in the action before the final showdown as the tournament organizers remind everyone what they're fighting for. They wheel out $2.5 million in cold hard cash and dump it on the table.
And Nevada weather, good God, well, you know what? When you want to flex on someone, when you want to make sure that people know that on a subconscious level that you are, exactly, you need to just dress up and impress. This is not gold teeth in the mouth rapper flexing with cash and waving in your face. This is, money's coming in. Now, granted, he is new money. He's very much he's very flashy. He's not. There's no subtlety to him, but. This is he's one of that classic flashy new he's the old school version of flashy for Las Vegas.
Few people in history have ever been in the presence of that much physical money. It's enough dough that Chris can...
Oh, yeah, no, it makes you look like a target, absolutely. But then again, does it really matter to him if he loses a couple $100,000? When he still's got his millions to recoup on?
Literally smell it. The moment snaps him back to reality. He'd been so dialed into the game that he forgot what was at stake. And for the first time in a while, Chris thinks about playing it safe. During the break, he runs into Sam Farha in the restroom and tries to cut
quite
it.
Frankly, if I was filthy rich, I'd still look like a bum. I'd still dress and look like a bum because, quite frankly, I like living very frugally. I don't really have a need for luxuries or high-end stuff. I just like being a kind of quiet guy.
Deal. He wants to split the first and second place purse 50-50 and just play for the trophy. Since Chris has about a 2-to-1 chip advantage, he considers it a generous offer.
Yeah, that seems very fair, though the thing is that while he may have that chip advantage, you gotta think of this in another example. You want to go for the goal. Like, some guys just want to be or Machiavellian. They want to have it all. Maybe megalomaniac's is a better word.
Farha, however, disagrees. He doesn't see Chris as an equal opponent and wants a greater share of the winnings. For as far as he's come, the others still don't think he deserves to be there. To truly earn their respect, Chris has to go out and prove himself once and for all.
Oh yeah, no.
The championship battle rages back and forth. After 90 minutes of action, neither player has been able to get an edge. That all changes
look how they sit. Like look at this juxtaposition. Look how he sits compared to Chris, right? You see Chris here, Farah here. Look at that demeanor. Look at that, just the body language of it all. just the sheer, he knows, he feels on top.
27th hand of the showdown.
Just you have the splayed, the splayed, just typical like relaxed appearance here of someone who's probably good tapping their feet in this butterfly position. You have this just laid back. He owns dominion over the table.
As the cards are dealt, both players fire into the pot. Chris has King 7, and after the turn card has both a straight and a flush draw. Sensing an opportunity, he bets big. The river card comes, and it's a total brick. Chris misses on both of his draws and is hung out to dry with just King High. He thinks for a bit, and then does the unthinkable. Moneymaker shoves all in with absolute junk. Farha has him beat with a pair of 9s. He has a golden opportunity to double up and put Chris in a nearly insurmountable deficit. All he has to do is make the call. Farha stares Chris down, scanning for any sort of inconsistency. Moneymaker has gone still as a statue. For the next minute, he doesn't move a muscle. After an excruciating wait, Farha lays down. Chris has just pulled off the bluff of the century. On the very next hand, he flops 2 pair and catches Sammy on a pair of jacks. Farha moves all in and Moneymaker calls. After 2 more cards, it's all over.
With a full house, Chris Moneymaker eliminates Sam Farha, and in a very swift and unlikely manner is atop the poker world.
When
like
he finally...
the kill wasn't even done on the final draw. Like, it was not like a big climatic to the end of the final draw of the final one. It was that call. That was it. That's what got him there. At that point, it was just rolling thunder. That was it.
He looked over his domain. He wept, for there were no more worlds to conquer. The 2003 World Series of Poker main event belongs to Chris Moneymaker. He finishes out his run with a tournament-winning full house. In his first ever live event, he walks out of the casino a multi-millionaire. In the words of ESPN commentator Norman Chads,
"This is beyond fairy tale. It's inconceivable."
Amidst the celebration, poker vets Mike Matusow and Eric Seidel are discussing what just transpired. Matusow is distraught, believing that the air of legitimacy around poker pros had just been dismantled. If a guy like Moneymaker could come in and beat the best in the world, what would that say about the industry as a whole?
Yeah.
Seidel, on the other hand, sees things more pragmatically. He suggests that they donate Chris 5% of their future earnings, because the world of poker was about to change forever.
Oh yeah. You want to get rich, make little people feel like big people. Yep. Listen, if you got no morals, casinos, best way to go about it. Make them feel you gotta gussy people up to make sure they're spending their money at your establishment.
Several months later, the tournament would air on ESPN, marking the beginning of what came to be known as the Moneymaker effect.
Oh, yeah.
The program drew in record viewership for televised poker, prompting the network to re-air the special nearly a dozen times. It turned out that the American public found Chris's story to be quite inspirational. People became enamored by the idea of raking in millions by playing cards for a few days. Just 1 year later, the WSOP main event saw triple the entrants. The poker boom was underway, as everyone tried to become the next Chris Moneymaker. In the following decades, this influx of new players would end up earning the poker industry.
Kind of like, I guess like this, I'm kind of like a very modern example and kind of crass example to say the OnlyFans thing that we had going on for a while was just like everyone's hopping in on it, thinking all the girls are hopping on it because they think they're gonna make money off it, boku dollars. And yet, when it all falls down, where do you lie?
Billions. However, the great irony with all of this is that for the part he played in it, Chris didn't actually walk away with that much money.
No.
Remember that steak he sold to his friends and family? Well, he had to make good on that promise. For his $2,000 share, Mike Moneymaker went on to pocket $500,000. And as For Dave's gamble, he turned his $2,500 wager into $625,000.
Oh my god.
That would have still left Chris with a nice chunk of change. But as it turned out, Mrs. Moneymaker got more than she bargained for when her husband started traveling the world to play poker for a living. The two would end up splitting, and most of the remaining prize money would leave with her. Chris may not have been left with much of a...
As Jay-Z once put it, "Excuse me, Miss Fufu, when I met your ass, you were damn broken naked, and now you want half."
fortune, but he did have fame. The folks at PokerStars greatly appreciated the free promotion he'd given them, and agreed to cover the costs of any event he wanted to enter. Needless to say, this new career path was certainly a step up from accounting. At the end of it all, Chris had found his...
He's looking better, though. He is looking better after he, I guess, got humbled by the world and, I guess, unfortunately raped by the justice system, or the court systems. Because he's looking a lot better than he did back in his 03 run.
True calling in life. And as time went on, it became apparent that his magical run may not have been such a fluke after all.
Yeah,
Soon enough, he would prove himself as quite a natural at the game. And as of 2024, he's still winning tournaments. It's now been over 20 years since Chris Moneymaker changed poker forever. If you catch him at the right time, you can still see him trying his luck at the place where it all began. This year's main event featured more than 10,000 entrants competing for a grand prize of $10 million. Today, the game is certainly different than the one Moneymaker came into. Many would agree that modern poker lacks much of the mystique and wonder that once made it so entertaining. The colorful cast of characters from the...
But look at this. Like, this is what it used to be. I remember seeing these on TVs when I was a kid at, like, restaurants. Like, they're goofy. They're playing with huge sums of money, but, like, on earlier points, they're oddballs.
Past have slowly been phased out by a new generation of players who prefer...
This, which is just, like, I'm fully on board with, like, with consummate professionals, but... Yeah, it just feels like they're trying to be Hackerman.
More robotic and analytical approach to the game. With the rise of computers
It's like being in any form of, like... I mean, you can think of card games. I used to see old card shops when they'd have the attorneys there. And you went from guys who would play Magic and they would... You know, they're all goofier nerds, and then you go into the more modern ones and they're just so hyper... This specifications, this certain card, this certain deck layout. It's like, guys, you're playing in a basement of a card shop in a dead end town. Where on a Friday night, just have some fun.
Poker engines. Everyone now understands the statistically optimal way to play. After all this time, we're still trying to master.
Yeah, the leaflet. I see it. Don't you try. I see that forward. I see the leaflet.
Excuse me, but you don't understand the statistical experience that I have. You understand my prowess, don't you know? You see,
the more I do it, the more I go into a New York Jew voice, and I don't really want to do that because I'm going to get called anti-Semitic if I go further with it.
The odds. But no matter how advanced your strategy is, no one really controls their destiny. Whenever you shuffle a deck of cards, there's an astronomically high...
Yeah, I'm seeing the glowy one. By the way, do you know Ronnie James Dio at all? Yeah, no, that's fine. Do you know any Ronnie James Dio? Because you're just a glowy and Dio from Ronnie James Dio from Black Sabbath, the singer, the metal singer. Or is that too gone for you? It's where Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure got his name from. Ronnie James Dio. Just a glowy in the dark. You're just a glowy in the dark. No sign of the morning. Just a glowy in the dark. The song's called Rainbow in the Dark, but I sing that sometimes when I'm on when I'm just beyond live streams and you get like people who just start glowing.
By chance that the combination you hold in your hand...
Yeah, I'm a 22-year-old boomer. What are you gonna do about it?
...has never existed before in history. The universe is full of possibilities, a few of which will lead us towards strange and beautiful surprises. to things far more valuable than money. When you think about all the cards that had to fall exactly right for the story to turn out this way, it's hard to believe it really happened. Of course, there are those who'll tell you that there's no such thing as chance. Events either happen or they don't. As far as we're concerned, the probability is either 0 or 100. The other numbers are just there to make...
Okay, I don't understand what JDM boy means. I'm from K and TG. Okay, Chippy, so, okay, I see. You're rewatching that clip again and again? Okay. JDM means Japanese domestic market. That refers to Japanese domestic market cars. The JDM scene of cars, aka Kirsha loves her Honda Preludes, a JDM car. Pippa's getting into Mazda Miatas, that's a JDM car. It means Japanese domestic market. I've grown tired and wary of the over-speculation, overpricing of Japanese cars. I like them, but I've grown wary and I've grown annoyed with the overhype of them too. So when I'm stroking that Volvo T5 or Volvo 5-cylinder that I've modified, I am stroking my big white block because that engine block family are called the modulars, or aka the white blocks, because the former family are called the red blocks because they're painted red from factory. The aluminum engines that Volvo made for the longest time were called white blocks. So it's my big white block I'm stroking on camera. Do you kind of get that, Chipiso? And by the way, I used to go on /O and /fit. Oh, you're more worried about the Chinese electric cars that might end up in your country? I think the dashcam video is gonna be a lot more interesting. That's what I think. Kinda. Okay, so once again, JDM boy is also in reference to, like, you know, how this make you feel, white boy, kind of like that. You know, there was that joke image of like of that one romance novel of that one. I don't describe it. It was like this woman kissing a dinosaur. It was literally one of those. It was like a monster fucker book, but like way before this current trend of monster fuckers. So it was like an old meme. It was like the "How this make you feel, white boy." It was just like Dagachi rather than Worthington. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. You're talking about the clip with the Gachi Muchi. Yeah. Also, that about to bust sound effect was white girls' cars of small SUVs are basically driving ugly station wagons. Yeah, no, I want station wagons back. I'm fully on board going back to the 90s of station wagons, compact hatchbacks, compact cars, compact sports cars. We need to go back to making cars sexy and having, you know, sex appeal, simultaneously also invoking sleeker family cars that can haul the kids around, so people want to have kids, but also make it affordable so people can actually afford the damn cars.
Make our unknowable future feel a bit less murky. Life is a lot more unpredictable than we'd often like to admit, and sometimes it's incredible what can happen when you no longer fear the odds.
I like sedans. Why do people hate four-doors? No, I don't hate them. I like Volvo S40s. I like 850s. I like sedans too. It's just they become so ubiquitous with how many there are on the road, and then, you know, I guess SUVs are taking that position over, but, you know, sedans are the last cars, essentially, and it's kind of grown ubiquitous and boring. Once again, I don't hate them, it's kind of like, I really wish we had compact coupes again. That's me. It's not like I have anything against them, though. That is a slick animation, I love that. Insane Pepsi, I can hear that playing. Alright. Thank you, I'm so sorry for positivity. Anyway, I think we're gonna go call it a night. I got work in the morning. Alright, thanks for the great stream. No, thank you for coming along. I'm just gonna exile. Unless you're going to bed, I'm gonna raid you guys into a couple different ones here. I'm gonna actually go my stream outplay music. So before we go, I'm gonna say I bid you all goodbye. I like how the hearse vaultings has the combination of sports car and trunk space for the wife and kids. Yeah, no, hearses are great. By the way, can you link to that video? Sure. Let me get that up here and running. Amp Lemon. Let me look this up. Amp Lemon Poker. I'll hit you up with it. Amp Lemon Poker. This was a classic. I'm gonna drop this here. Here's the stream link. Of course. Here you are. It'll double up because I'm repeating on a couple software. There we go. Triple up. But I think I'm going to be calling it a night. I'm going to play out with some David Bowie, and you guys have a good evening. And actually, guess good morning then. Well, no, I didn't install the parts. I got them machined in, but I'm rebuilding engines, or at least attempting to learn how to do so. So, good night.
Can't think of a thing to say. Live with the best times, left with the worst. Danced with you too long, nothing left to say. Let's take what we can. And there's something in the air, something in mine. I've danced with you too long, yeah. Something in the air, something in I'm asking you to go. We used what we could to get the things we want, but we lost each other along the way. I guess you know I never wanted anyone more than you. Lived all our best times, left with the worst. I've danced with you too long. Say what you will, there's something in the air. It rains for the last time. something in my eye. I've danced with you too long.